Welcome back, you guys. I'm Tassie, and on my Ghostly Update vlog this week, I'm going to be talking a bit about just some general questions I had. And then the number one question everybody keeps asking me about is tigers. So we'll go into my experience or my knowledge on tigers. And then from there, just a brief recap of something that happened to me over Mother's Day weekend. And I know I missed a week, you guys. I've just been really busy. Okay, so like on my Tassie Eats page, I mentioned that I'm into gardening. So I've been doing a lot of gardening lately. A lot of projects came up for me. Summer's coming, so I've just been really busy, but I am trying to get this video uploaded for this week for you guys. So thanks for watching. All right, so the questions I got was about tarot cards. The individual basically wanted to know, do you have to be gifted to do tarot cards? And if you're going to become a shaman, can you do tarot cards before you become a shaman, or do you have to become a shaman and then you can do tarot cards? So really briefly, I used to do tarot cards before I was a shaman, and this was a long time ago. I no longer do it. I was like in my early 20s. I was probably like 19 or 20 when I did it. I'm 32 now, so I don't do it anymore. However, I will have to say, when I was doing tarot cards, I heard, okay, and I'm putting quotations around this because I've never actually experienced it or did it or anything like that. So sometimes there's sayings that if you do tarot cards and your readings are way off, they're not accurate, you're supposed to like recharge your cards. Some methods, you put them like around certain types of rocks that give off like healing energy. Don't ask me what type of rocks because I don't know. People also say that you can put it under a full moon, your cards, so that they can recharge or something. So that's what I've read online. For myself, personally, I don't believe in that. Only because for me, I see that you can do tarot cards if you are given the gift to do it, the natural gift. Some people can learn it. However, like with anything, when you naturally have a gift at doing something and it's something that you're meant to do, it comes easier. It's more accurate. You can go more in depth and all sorts of stuff. Whereas if it's just like a magic that you want to learn, it won't be as accurate. It won't be you won't be able to see as far or as clear, and they tend to be very generic. So it's just like those who can't come up with their own spells or verses when they are a shaman, and they have to record and listen off of somebody else, and then they use those same verses. So it's the same idea around that if you have the natural ability, you could go a lot further with that gift. Whereas if you're trying to just learn it and you naturally don't have it, you're going to struggle with it a lot more, and even then it won't be as easy or as great as if it was a natural gift. So with the last half of that question about do you have to be a practicing shaman before you do it or vice versa, if you are a shaman who can do it. So if you're a shaman who will never be able to do tarot cards, you won't be able to do it. It's the same thing. You can learn it, of course, but it may not be as accurate. It may not be as in depth, etc. It's just like those who, when they go into the spirit world and they can see, and then those who can't see. So a lot of those are just natural abilities that you could or could not have. And if it doesn't matter if you are going to become a shaman or you're not doing it yet, again, if that was supposed to happen to you and that's supposed to be a gift, just try it. Because if you're supposed to be able to do that, you will be able to. I hope that makes sense. All right, very briefly now. I'll try to keep this brief. Tigers. So everybody was asking me about tigers because I did the whole dragon video. A lot of people wanted to know about tigers. Right off the bat, you guys, I personally do not have a lot of experience with tigers. I have run across them before, but it wasn't, okay, for anybody who's not Hmong, I feel like this is a story I have to share with you, my general audience, for anybody who's not Hmong and you don't know the story behind tigers. Growing up, especially for like earlier generation, first American born here Hmong people, we heard a lot of stories from when we were kids. Like our parents, they survived the war, and they're telling us, Danning, it's just like, it's stories from that they heard when they were children back in Thailand or Laos. So there is a tiger story, and there's a couple of them. I'm going to let you guys know. Basically, the gist of it is that tigers, it actually isn't a tiger. It's actually a spirit that took on the form of a tiger. And the whole point of that was it was attracted to the monk people in the mountains. They had these gifts that they wanted, which is the flute. And so they followed it to the village and started killing people. Now, that's also why we have the superstition. For anybody who doesn't know this, there's a monk superstition that at night you shouldn't whistle because it can attract spirits that are attracted to your ability, etc. And I'm getting chills. And there's also the superstitions about like there's certain verses that people can only say when they're at funeral homes. Same thing with drums and certain songs that they play with the flute. You can only do those in funeral homes because you will invite death. Also, another tiger story is that there's like this infamous kind of legend that I know of, and I'm like, what? Because like I didn't grow up with a lot of monk people, so it's amazing that even I know about this. But basically, and this is where my memory gets foggy, I think there was like a tiger spirit who killed a man, put his clothes on, or like took over, its try to morph into that husband or that man. He went home to the wife to trick her that I'm your husband, I'm back. And he ate their children. And then the wife found out that he's actually a tiger and they got rid of him. So that's kind of the story around tigers. Did that just sound terrible, you guys? So very briefly, what do I know about tigers? I'm not speaking for all shamans out there, their own experiences. This is just my own knowledge and experiences that I have, and that's the point of my vlogs here. So as far as tigers, so tigers are actually mostly used as servants. Now, what you guys may not know, and some of you guys will know this already, tigers, they are, okay, I've been asked a lot about like, are there different races in the spirit world? There are. Tigers is one of them. It's basically just a skill set that they have. And they're easy to control. However, they're easy to control if you have the power to control them, if that made any sense. So they're mostly used by demigods. I'm just going to throw that out there. So demigods have an easier time controlling tigers because tigers they're not demonic. However, they're kind of seen like they are. Like they're kind of like, you know, like they do low tasks for people. They hurt people. They can do things that demons can. However, demons can also control tigers. And the whole point about controlling them, okay, so they do have their own will and they can do things on their own too. However, if anybody has the ability to smell the spirit world, so some people have the ability to smell when there's a demon around or a ghost around, or they have scents on people. If a tiger is controlled by somebody, you can smell the individual off of the tiger because it's like a scented trail on that tiger. Now, gods tend not to use tigers because it's like a lowly trick. It's not even like something like worthy. Well, because they have so many other types of abilities, why would they need a tiger to do something for them? So a lot of demigods would do that though, because the demigods, they don't have as much power or abilities as a full god would. So that's why to me, I associate them mostly with demigods because that's typically who they would use. So basically gods, they would use dragons, or they have other types of guides who can do all sorts of things for them. They wouldn't need to rely on a tiger. And a tiger is not like a guide for shamans, okay? Don't confuse that. Tigers are just a certain type of spirit beings that have certain types of abilities. And the whole point of that is if an individual cannot control the tiger will turn on the individual, just like demons. Shamans who tend to release demons on other things and people. If that shaman cannot control that demon, the demon will turn on them. So just letting you know. Where can you find tigers? Let's see. I think if you go to Target, you can find a tiger. No, tigers are actually most prevalent around whenever, you know, like I'm going to say this, it's like funeral homes, anything tragic that has happened. Whenever something tragic has happened there, a lot of emotions, it can open up portals and demonic entities can come out. Dragons tend to be attracted to that. Even to like jungles and forests, they are attracted to that. There's actually a lot of ghosts and entities in the forests and jungles as well. Even here in America, you guys can come across tigers. And, you know, I don't know, they're not a big deal to me, so But I know a lot of you guys have been asking about tigers because it's something that I believe a lot of our parents and our elders always talked about. And it was something that was very prevalent and was a really serious matter for them. But for myself, I don't know many shamans either who have issues with tigers. It's just, we just see it as something you got to take care of. If that happens, like if you have somebody who comes to you for services, you just take care of it like any other ghost out there. It's not a big deal, but I think a lot of people just want to talk about tigers. And so that's the knowledge that I have on tigers. Personally, I have come across them, but it's like a fly, it's not a big deal. But I understand a lot of people are very afraid of tigers and their abilities, and that's pretty much it. So if you do have a problem with a tiger spirit, just seek out a shaman. It's pretty easy to get rid of it. So I know I probably make it sound a lot easier than it is, and I do apologize for that, but it's kind of like you just take care of it. If it's really bothering you, you just take care of it. Same thing with people who have dragons who chase them and try to kill them. So same thing with that. You need to find the right shaman who can negotiate it against the dragon to actually release you from this. You just need to take care of it if it's really bothering you, especially if you have a lot of dreams about a tiger or a dragon. It doesn't matter. Tigers typically don't come as dragons, just so you guys know. But, it's the same kind of method behind all of that, and that's pretty much it. So really briefly, a scary thing that happened to me. So over Mother's Day weekend, my boyfriend and I, we took his mom out to the gun range, and then we were doing a barbecue at his older brother's house. So us girls, we all left the gun range early because they were doing like long range shooting, and we were done. It was cold. You guys, if you guys don't remember, it was cold in Minnesota when it was Mother's Day. So we went back to the house, and they live in a split level house. And I remember we were just laughing and talking, and I took off my jacket, and as I was turning around, I saw a white man like rushing up the stairs, like right towards me, and he looked at me, you guys. He looked at me, and I remember I was like I was so scared. And my boyfriend's mom was there, and she was looking at me as it happened, and she was like, "What's wrong?" Like, she was like so terrified. She was like, "What's wrong, Tassie?" And I was like, "There's a ghost by the stairway." Like, I was just so scared. But yeah, like I'm okay. Like their basement, because it's a split level house. It's like half of the house is underground. It was just really creepy, and it's always been creepy. But I never, it was the fact that he looked me in the eyes, and it was just really creepy. All right. That aside, you guys, I hope everybody has a wonderful Memorial weekend. I'm looking forward to tons of barbecuing. And you all know I love to eat, hence my other channel. All right, you guys, until next time.